out with a very, very silly intro.
You want? I mean, if you want to do it,
I'm not
go for
prepared
it.
for it,
Oh,
so don't
okay.
worry. No, I was going to do a Sarah McLachlan in the Arms of an Angel segment where we reach out to oh, who was it that got absolutely dominated by Braun Breaker the other day?
Oh,
Carlito.
Carlito.
I was gonna do like a Carlito like in the Arms of an Angel thing and be like, for $1 a day, you too can help resuscitate somebody who was absolutely manhandled by Braun Breaker. And then just do like a montage of like I Show Speed getting hit and Carlito getting hit, and because like I must have watched that Carlito spear on repeat. It was a thing of absolute beauty. All right. We are live. I'm just semi shuffling up the manias because they were in the order that we picked them, and I wanted it to be just a little bit more random. Okay. Oh, I forgot my St. Jude bot's still going. I guess that works.
So we're live.
Yeah.
Okay.
So just whenever you're ready. I do the live stream because like real quick. Unintentional recurring segment has been created.
What's that?
My little niece, like 4, maybe 5, I can't remember, year-old niece, asked me the other day, "Hey Steven, Uncle Steven." So what's up? She goes, "Who was the first person to have the tribal chief necklace?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I don't know, but I will find out." And Rindy goes, "You should make that a regular segment. Like have a, quick pop question segment."
I am down for that. Is that we get little kids, wives, or just anyone to ask a random wrestling question, and we have to
Ask
figure
someone
it out.
who's not like super knowledgeable to ask you like a wrestling question. Like, I mean, like I said, this is a 4 or 5-year-old who my little nephew, Cole, he's a little older. I think he's like maybe 8 or 9. He's gotten super into wrestling, but he's like super into Roman Reigns. And so she's kind of by osmosis getting wrestling. And so her first question was, who was the first person to have the tribal chief necklace, the Ulafala? But obviously she didn't know how to say Ulafala. But I was like, you know what? I'll find out and I'll tell you. And then Randy was like, yeah, you should make that a recurring segment and call it Quick Pop Questions.
I'm down with that. I'm down with us having random
questions. Yeah, I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, if somebody asks us a question about wrestling and it's like a pretty neat like trivia kind of thing or like has some lore to it, save it and bring it up at the podcast.
Yeah, I'm down. I'm down.
So, inaugural will go to Little Rylan, but yeah, I was just like, yeah, I'll find out. You know what? I'll find out with friends.
Nice.
We can do it if we don't know right off the bat, but it'll just be like we'll find the answer out together.
The first person that comes to mind is High Chief Maivia.
That's what I thought.
But I don't know if he was the first ever to do it. You know?
That's why I say we'll look it up. Look it up live. Just make it as part of the thing.
You still use Opera GX?
I use it for the recording because I can set the RAM and CPU limit. And I like that in my browser for like live streaming and recording purposes so it doesn't go overboard.
Bingo. Yeah, no, I stopped using Opera GX because it boots up so incredibly slow. So I went back to Firefox. Yeah.
Browsers like candy. Everyone's got their favorite and their reason.
Well, I used to use Opera GX until they updated it.
I think I used Vivaldi for a while. I bounced off Brave for a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but I do like that it has the like the controller.
Yeah.
So that helps. All right. Take it away whenever you're ready.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, today we don't talk about just wrestling. We remember, we honor two brave, reckless souls taken not down by fate, but by a 6 foot, 230-pound human freight train named Braun Breaker. First, there was I Show Speed. Then, Carlito of the Judgment Day. Not when Braun Breaker hit the ring looking like a Madden created character with all sliders maxed out. He didn't just spear them, he arranged their souls. If you or a loved one has ever been speared unexpectedly, please call 1-800-BREAKER. That's Breaker with 2 Ks. The second K is for KO'd. This is the Quick Pop Podcast.
In the ring, we're talking loud. Ace shake and raunchy proud. Quick Pop Podcast all around. Wrestling fans, we break it down. Hit a slam, hit a roar. Every night we give you more.
Welcome, one and all. If you or a loved one has ever suffered from mesothelioma, you might be entitled to financial compensation. Hey guys, this is Raunchy. Hi, what's up? What's good? I'm back, but I'm not the only one that's back. There are two other boys. The trio is back, coming at you live. The triangle, the triumvirate of terror. It's Ace and Jake. What's going on, my boys?
Who was that Southern gentleman that did the opening to our show? Did we hire Colonel Sanders?
No, that was Wilford Brimley.
Yeah, it's a combination of the two, and Foghorn Leghorn. All
And
three.
Foghorn Leghorn.
Triumvirate of terror.
Always Foghorn Leghorn.
110%.
That was diabetes.
Diabetes is always covered. It never stops. It's a
Let it be
freight
known.
train, just like Braun Breaker.
Let it be known you said 1-800 breaker, and my brain immediately started going like PERBREAK. Oh yeah, you could do it. Yeah, that would actually be a good number. And then you said with 2 Ks, and I was like, well, now it's messed up.
Look, I am not an accurate individual. I work in artistry. There is nothing accurate in art. I'm
There's
just a
nothing
boy doing
accurate
boy
in
things.
artistry.
There's nothing accurate. No.
Ron for
Yeah. What is the golden ratio? F that. I'm a little poop boy.
All right, let's get. Oh my god, I saw that earlier. Jesus Christ, Ron. What?
What?
was that?
What? What are you talking about?
I was like, what high reality have I stumbled into
Are-
when I saw that? I was like, this is like. This
Are
is
you
more than
telling me?
180.
Are you telling me that you poop? That you pee when you poop, or you poop when you pee? Are you telling me that you poop when you pee?
Sometimes you do. It hits the floor.
That-
If you're anal.
that's-
Ace, hold on, rewind. Ace, I need clarification here because we're setting up for me to come to your place to watch Mania, and
There's like
No,
this little
hey,
pile that's
hey.
like resting
Did you not
next to the
see
bathtub.
Ron's latest?
oh no, I saw Ron's latest. I know exactly what y'all are talking about.
I'm just
What I'm
repeating
saying
it.
It's your words was just yes.
My
I
words
poop
were
when I
literally-
pee. It hits the floor.
That's
Ace,
literally
I will
his
not- Ace,
herpes.
I will not be coming over your house for WrestleMania.
You
It
clearly didn't see it.
Hits the floor.
You clearly didn't see it. Like that's word for word what his thing said.
Well, I know, but it sounded to me like you weren't
Well,
quoting.
I know, but
No, it sounded to me like you weren't quoting. You were the voice of experience, and I need to know what I'm walking into, pun intended, when I come to your house.
we've got 4 bathrooms. Just don't use that one.
Fair.
Which one is that one?
I was gonna
You
say,
know,
which
that's-
one-
That's
which one is that one?
That's
the
the
mister?
fun part.
Which is the one that we gotta
No,
like worry about?
No, that is not the fun part. I am not Russian roulette playing will I or will I won't walk into
All
fecal matter.
you only have to
Why
play.
not?
You only have to play Russian roulette once. You either figure out it is and go not that one, or you
Fair.
figure out it isn't and just go to that one.
You telling me, Jake, that you never gambled on a fart? You never gambled on a little old pea toot? Like you're standing there, you're draining the lizard, and you got a little rumble in the jungle up in your guts, and you just need to let out a little gas. Are you telling me that you never gamble with that while you're aiming your winky at a bowl?
You know what? I'm just gonna
Ron.
No, actually, hold on. Let's do something a little different. Hey. I got a random question for y'all, and I'm definitely not stealing it from Ace's chat right now.
Okay.
yeah.
Let's put a hypothetical.
Okay.
Say I am someone that doesn't know anything about wrestling,
Okay.
and I am going to a WrestleMania watch party.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
What is the wildest thing that I could yell at the TV? Shout out to Durandil. You keep doing you.
I'm gonna say twist his dick.
Grab his dick and twist it.
Grab his dick and twist it.
I was gonna say
dick twist.
I was gonna say dick twist as well because it is just such a staple of I don't know what's going on, but I know I want somebody to hurt someone.
I would have asked, what happened to Chris Benoit, but
No.
I'm just saying, WrestleMania is sponsored by Bowflex.
You know what, guys? Hey, we are being very sexist here. There are women matches, so you could also scream out "puncher" and fantastic voyage.
It's 2025.
I know, and I'm trying to allow ladies to yell out stuff too, so they can yell out "punch her" in her vag-tastic voyage. I mean, it's a thing.
No, if only like WrestleMania was like in New England, you could like punch her right in the clam chowder.
Punch her right in the clam chowder.
Horrible. I didn't say that.
No, not at all.
I didn't say that. But guys, hey, how was y'all's week or 2 weeks? The use. We're just running it down.
Let's see. What did you and I do last week, Jake?
I believe Ace, you won the Quick Pop Championship.
That is right.
Yeah.
Oh, and I won the NBA Fantasy League Championship.
That is also true.
That's
there
right.
You go. Congrats.
And Ron, Ron, you didn't win anything, did you?
No. Heck no. Heck no. Someone
is dragging this podcast down.
I mean, what else have I been gone?
There's a reason we try to kick you out last week.
Right.
Hold on.
I will say I am pulling a little bit of my weight. Go to quickpopshop.com where you can get your new WrestleMania 41 t-shirts. It's Christ Mania. Pew, 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 pew. Check it out as Jesus Christ himself is not leaving the cave as he watches WrestleMania 41.
Bro, give me a second. Hold on.
Hey, I mean,
if you're gonna chill, let me pull it up. So yeah, we have it in 3 amazing setups. We've got it in t-shirt form. We've got it in long sleeve if you want to wrap later on this year, and we've even got it in a mug. And these are all bargain basement prices because you don't make money off of Jesus watching WrestleMania.
That's right.
Am I redeemed, Jake?
You know what, Ron? You are redeemed. Ron.
I am forgiven. Am I forgiven?
Ron, we expelled you. We cast you out. And you know what, Ron? After about 3 days, we thought about it. We let you return to the podcast.
Oh my God. Thank you. I really appreciate it. But yeah, go to quickpopshop.com. Check out the new WrestleMania 41 Christ Mania t-shirt. It's pretty nice. It's pretty blasphemous too, but I'm here for it.
I ran it by an ordained minister and she got one too.
Oh, I'm ordained.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I can marry people.
Okay, guys. I know we have a planned podcast. We are stopping this podcast right now. If y'all came for wrestling, I'm sorry. That's on the back burner. I've hit the brakes. What religion, Ron?
Oh, Universal Life Church. You just sign up for it online.
Ron, everything coming out of your mouth is giving me 10 more questions. What is Universal Life Church?
Oh, it's just some website online where you could actually register to become an ordainer. So you could marry your friends, marry couples of any sort of sexuality, and I am a good boy. So I want to make sure that that option is available to them in case their church shuns them out.
Okay, so did you do this for a specific person or a group that you married, or did you just do this to do this?
Oh, I just did it to do it. I've been ordained for about 3 years, and in fact, in October, I get to perform my first service.
Okay, so you did this to just to do it, but you are actually going to marry a couple.
Sir, have you listened to me talk? I am great at it.
Are you?
Yeah.
Are you?
I've never
Ron,
heard him.
Ron, I have to know. When you are marrying a couple, do you do the normal preacher stuff where you meet with them before, talk to them, get to know them, or will you only do this for friends you already know?
Well, I will tell you the first couple that I'm marrying, one of them is my sister. So I do know her, and yeah.
Question stands.
So I will be asking them certain things. I did say that I am putting in some religion into it because the groom's parents are religious and my mom is ultra religious. So I want to make sure everyone is good. But just like any speech that I give at weddings, I'm not there for the old heads. I'm sorry that you can't hear. You probably want to turn your hearing aids off because I am not there to cater to you. I am there to pop the boys.
Okay, so when you are there, Ron, you aren't just any old preacher. You'll say whatever comes to your mind, huh?
I mean, I'm gonna have a script.
Okay,
I'm gonna hit the bullet points. But Ron, okay. So while I was gone, I was one of my friends got married, and at the rehearsal dinner, anyone could come up and give a speech, and I was told I gave the best speech. Not only because it was loud, it was rambunctious, it was flavorful, it was exciting, but there were 2 points where I looked at my friend and he gave me the old cut the neck gesture. Is like, hey, don't talk about that. And then I got another one where the bride gave the old cut the neck, let's not talk about that gesture. So I like to think that I did well.
All right, Ron. So one last question: when you're about to do your first service as an ordained man of the cloth,
yes.
So
fine cloth.
When you are doing this, different preachers have different styles. Some like to be like very speechy with it. Some like to tell anecdotes about the people. Some just get in there and get out. Some make it quick. Ron, what style are you as a man of the cloth? Are you going to speak all night, or are you just going to get in and out?
Look, I will say that it depends on it. Like every person, say if I was marrying you and your beautiful wife, I would make sure that I take my time to recite the things that need to be recited. I would make it bombastic, make it colorful, make it proper, prim, and unique. For my sister, I don't think she deserves all that. I'm giving her the raunchy special, the speed run, any percent wedding strat. So I would say I could probably finish that in maybe about a minute or so.
You think you can start with the dearly beloveds and then end with the I do's in 60 seconds?
Yeah, I'd say I can do it pretty quick. Pop in and out.
In and out. Wow.
This is the quick pop, quick minute.
Quick pop, quick minute.
Welcome, one and all, to the Quick Pop Quick Minute. Obviously, this is a short form wrestling report podcast within a long form wrestling epic. That is the Quick Pop Podcast. I'm your one and only host for the Quick Pop Quick Minute, Raunchy. We will talk about some wrestling news that we may or may not cover in this episode, weird one off tidbits, and factoids that you may not know about. Anyway, let's ring that bell and take it home. The following statement is not sponsored by Dropout TV. Ever wanted to watch wrestlers play a tabletop role-playing game? I got the perfect answer for you, you nerdy dice-rolling marks. But not just any wrestlers trying to get the WWE ID Championship belt. Not like those hecking schmucky-wuckies slap it on bald heads over at TBS, the Superstation. I am talking about bona fide champions of their craft. The best of the best, the cream of the crop. That's right, I am talking about the WWE. 3 former title holders and a current champion, to be exact. These ravishing, righteous wrestlers have teamed up with one of the quickest rising stars in the tabletop game master universe, Brennan Lee Mulligan, to bring you the literal showcase of the immortals in Dropout TV's newest season of Dimension 20, Titan Takedown. Set in ancient Greece, the big guy himself, the Lord of Lightning, the man of a million kids, Big Z, Zeus, is throwing a tournament where the winner takes a seat amongst the gods on high, leering upon the mortals from Mount Olympus. They have a chance to wield godly power, to hurt, to heal, to bask in riches, whatever the Titan Takedown champion wants. But there are new challengers to godlyhood that Big Z didn't book to win. These challengers have previously been affected by the man in the Titan Tower, Mount Olympus, Big Z, and his 2 brothers, the forgetful stoner Poseidon and the mischievously devilish Hades. And this ragtag crew is planning to exact vengeance, revenge, and a whole bunch of whoop-ass in the squared circle. You have the former King of the Ring champion, multiple-time WWE Tag Team champion, and avid Dungeons & Dragons player Xavier Woods playing Julius Mortem, the monk. You have his tag team partner, the former tag team champ, former U.S. champion, and former WWE heavyweight champion Kofi Kingston playing King Adonis, the fighter. We also have former NXT, SmackDown, and Raw Women's champion, former tag team champion, and Royal Rumble winner Bayley as Thea Kitleru, the Barbarian. And finally, you have former tag team champion and current Women's United States champion, leader of the Secret Hervis, Chelsea Green, portraying Tabitha, the feline rogue. The first episode, Party Animals, is currently free on YouTube, and the second episode, Bouts and Boogies, is available on Dropout TV app. Dropout TV is currently $5.99 and will be $6.99 in May, and contains hit shows like Game Changers, Very Important People, Dimension 20, Gastronauts, Actually, Make Some Noise, Smarty Pants, and more. We got our Dropout subscription the moment they announced Titan Takedown, and we have been binging the heck out of it ever since. We have been exposing all of our friends to the content, and the listeners of the Quick Pop Podcast are not exempt to my campaign to expose everyone to this fantastic streaming app, Dropout TV. Again, this is not a paid advertisement by Dropout TV. And that just so happens to be your Quick Pop Quick Minute.
Huh.
Did we just do a commercial?
We did. And I'm not mad at it.
Have you watched it?
I watched only the first episode. I don't have Dropout.
Dude, Dropout is so good.
I know.
Dude, we have been binging it for...
I had a Dropout for a while that I had to let it go just because, like, at the time, money was, like, ultra tight.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, I live vicariously through watching, like, TikTok clips of, like...
Sam Reich and Brendan Lee Mulligan.
Everything Sam Reich and Brendan Like, I love I love what's the Game Changer, what's that noise or whatever it is,
Make Some Noise.
Make Some Noise, that's the one.
Yeah,
those are like my top 3. I've enjoyed like watching tabletop stuff, and also at the same time the ADHD in me doesn't let me do it. Like, they keep it snappy, but at the same time, like, my brain just can't sit and watch people play D&D, because one, watching tabletop, especially like tabletop play out in front of you, is difficult for me, and then 2, I just want to play it.
Yeah.
So it's a mixed bag of, like, I can't get into it. Like, even when I watch Warhammer tabletop, like, it's like snappy, and then that guy moved, and then they attacked, and then, like, it's not the whole minutia of it.
Right.
So,
yeah, no, this one has been like so good. I've been on like the Dimension 20 subreddit. I've been on the Dropout subreddit, and they are pretty happy about how Titan Takedown has been surprisingly good, because they didn't know that wrestlers would mesh well, but
I mean,
Brendan Lee Mulligan is
storytelling.
a hecking genius, and he also he realizes when he needs to go in and persuade someone in the right direction, kind of inch the story along. It's a brilliant show,
Yeah.
absolutely. So yeah, no, wasn't a paid advertisement. I just really love the content on Dropout TV in general. So
Agreed.
yeah. Jake, are you into Dungeons and Dragons?
I played. I'm not a huge. I don't dislike it. I don't play a lot. There's not a lot of people that I knew growing up that played Dungeons and Dragons until I got much older, and then it was like, oh, we've been playing for 10 years. It's like, oh, I've never played, and so I've since then dipped my toe in, and I played with a few friend groups. I enjoy it. I just don't really have the time to do it.
Right. Yeah, no, it is a little bit of a time consuming. Yeah. It's a good time.
Oh yeah, no, it's also I'm not trying to crap on it at all. It's fun. It's a fun time when
you're playing D&D if you're not constantly aware of how little time you have to play D&D.
Fair. All right, boys.
So before we get into it,
okay. What is it?
Ron gave us a random viewer question. I have my own, not as random because semi pre-planned viewer question. I have an adorable little niece named Rylan. Rylan is 4, maybe 5. I don't remember quite right offhand. But her older brother, is super into wrestling. He is super into Roman Reigns. And she came up to me the other day and said, Uncle Steven. I said, yes. She asked, and I thought I would bring it to you guys to see if we could get the final answer. Who was the first person to possess, wear, rep, whatever, the tribal chief necklace, the Ulafala?
Rocky Romero.
Rocky Romero?
He is wrong. I believe, like I said, we discussed this a little earlier in the chat before the podcast started. I believe it's High Chief Peter Maivia. I don't know that for any sort of fact or certainty, but he is just the oldest wrestler I can think of to wear. Yeah, the guy right there, top left. Yes, that's who I believe that it is.
That's probably right. Looking at just the whole line of pictures here, that's almost certainly,
because you got Alpha, Sika, Rikishi, Maga. Yeah.
I mean, one of them may have worn it. Somebody else may have worn it before that, was a Samoan wrestler. That's just the first.
But the lineal, yeah.
That's the first one we know about. Had
did it as a character on a big enough stage to where it was televised, not just locally, but it was actually broadcast.
Mm-hmm.
So that's who I believe it is. But yeah, if anyone else listening thinks we're a bunch of dum-dum heads, please send us a message and tell us who it actually was. Tell us we're wrong. We can take it.
Yeah, tell us on social media. Quick Popcast. You know what to do.
On social media. Tell us that we're wrong, like everyone else.
I mean, there'll probably be some person that was like, actually, my dad said that.
Actually is a show that's on Dropout TV. Again, we are not paid by Dropout TV.
But I mean, we'll take it.
Ron, do we need to get a sponsorship from Dropout TV? I have a feeling that even though we have a pre-planned thing, you're going to keep mentioning Dropout TV.
I don't think Dropout sponsors people. They're ones looking for sponsors.
Interesting. So should we sponsor Dropout TV?
I don't see why not.
Yeah. Okay. Here's the plan, guys. Ron, I need you to collect all the Jesus Mania shirt money and send that money to Dropout TV and tell them we are sponsoring you now.
Oh, I'm not in charge of finances. Why are you giving me an extra job to do? Why don't you go heck yourself?
Well, hey, Ace,
That is not on the tier list of things I do.
If it was though, Ron, it'd probably be at the bottom of the tier list, right?
Yeah, probably a D.
I'm getting.
What do you think would be
a D for Dropout TV?
Jesus Christ! I'm not even going to go back and forth with you anymore. Everyone, this is a tier maker episode. We thought it is WrestleMania season, so we each randomly picked 5 different WrestleManias, culminating at 15 of them, to rank these 15 WrestleManias best, worst, indifferent, and the ones that we just don't care about. And Ace, what's going to be first on the list? What's the first WrestleMania?
Well, I would first like to say right off the bat, what's really funny is this one's going to be difficult because unlike previous times where we went through like all the WrestleManias kind of deal, this one is we each selected 5, like hand-picked, thought it through, and so it's going to be hard because we think these 5 are the good ones. So did y'all only pick ones you thought were good? Because that's not
no, that's not what I did.
That's not what I did at all. There are some on my list that I very much so think are stinkers.
I just mean like there will be ones that we like really liked, and then ones that were like, but we're gonna have to like figure out a fair ranking.
I made sure to hit the gamut, so
I believe in us.
I'm across the spectrum with mine.
Mine was a mix of like top and personal for like personal reasons why I liked it, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're just gonna. I've kind of scrambled these and shuffled these, so they're in no particular order of who picked what, when, and how. So starting off, we've got WrestleMania 20.
WrestleMania 20. That's the one with Goldberg and Lesnar, right?
Yes, that is Madison Square Garden. Main event is Shawn Michaels, Triple H, and He Who Shall Not Be Named. Lesnar and Goldberg with special guest referee Stone Cold Steve Austin. It is the beginning of the big push for John Cena as he wins the U.S. title over the Big Show in the opener. I believe Undertaker came back that night against Kane. It was a returning Taker versus Kane. I believe they had 2 different multi-man tag matches. I'm trying to pull up the whole card. I'm just going
Rock
through
and
right now.
Mick Foley went against Evolution.
I thought they lost against Evolution.
I didn't say they won. I said they went up again.
Win again. I thought you said won. I was like, I thought they lost. I was like, am I remembering it wrong? Yeah. It was also a returning Rock. I think he'd been gone for a year and a half. I know he hadn't been seen since 19, so it would have been a year. So it was like a returning Rock.
So we got a Fatal 4-Way with Van Dam, Booker, Garrison Cade, and Jindrak. The Dudleys and La Resistance.
We got Christian versus Chris Jericho.
And there was the Rock and Sock Evolution.
Wait, how about this? Whoever nominated it tells us where they're putting it, and then we come up with reasons why they're right or wrong about it.
Okay. Step 1.
I didn't think that's what we were going to do, but yeah, give it. Okay, so that's me. I nominated this one. So let's go back to the tier. What are we? A through F minus?
Looks S through D.
I think this WrestleMania was had a big time feel, a good hype up to it. You had a solid triple threat main event. Eddie Guerrero and Kurt Angle for the WWE Championship had an amazing creative finish with Eddie pulling his boot off and that. You had the return of The Undertaker. You had the return of The Rock in a year with him, Mick Foley teaming up. You had John Cena winning his first singles title, starting his big push. So there's just ramifications there looking back. I think this is a solid WrestleMania. And I think I would put this at an A or a B.
I appreciate you doing my job for me.
You know what? I can't disagree. I'm like high B, low A, just because my favorite match from that has to be Guerrero and Angle. So
Yeah.
Yeah, Guerrero winning it was a big deal. So that's to me what gives it that like big Mania feel of putting it at least in an A.
right, yeah, I can't.
All right, let's
I
go
can't
A.
dissuade you. Yeah.
Hey,
All right. Next up on the list, we got good old fashioned. What is that?
Once in a
28
lifetime. Once in a lifetime.
Lifetime.
WrestleMania
Definitely-
28. That's
definitely-
mine as well.
Well, I was gonna let you slide. 20 was definitely mine, but
Oh,
that's
no.
why I said you did my
Wait,
job.
wait, 20 was yours?
Yes.
Yeah, 20 was his.
My fourth pick. That's why when you went in, I was like,
Sorry,
I mean, you're saying all the things I would say, but yeah, go ahead.
I'm sorry, Ace. I wrote down my picks, and I actually wrote down 20 as one of my picks. It was one of the ones I was going to pick, but you picked before me. I am sorry.
You're fine. You said exactly what I would have said.
All right.
That's why
So,
I said, like, well, you did my job for me, but go ahead.
you know what, Ace? How about you take once in a lifetime?
You take
You take
had
once in a lifetime.
Cena versus Rock, and no, that's all I got. Like, I didn't research that one as hard. So,
Well, okay, then you know what? Let me go ahead and take care a little bit. This was pretty fine. Of course, it led off with the first the first match, Sheamus beating Daniel Bryan in 18 seconds, which was very surprising for a kickoff. Because you want to start off like pretty strong, and that was a very weird sort of thing to do. Yeah, Big Show going over Cody Rhodes for the IC title. You had that weird match with Kelly and Maria Menounos beating Beth Phoenix and Eve Torres. Then you had Team Johnny versus Team Teddy. That was the thing. One of my favorite matches in there was the Hell in a Cell match. End of an era. I believe that was the end of the era match, right? Taker and Trips in Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, with Sean as
amazing match. Punk versus Jericho was also pretty dang good. Rock and Cena, it was okay, but you realize that like after the fact that Rock had torn, I believe, one of his muscles, and so it ended up being like an okay match. I remember it being like pretty enjoyable, but you definitely had some big lulls in it, so I would give it probably a low B.
I can go with the B. I think it was a very good WrestleMania. Didn't they also have a musical guest that night?
I don't recall. I think maybe, but I don't recall.
I'm blanking on who the musical guest was.
It's not the musical guest. We'll get to that.
Oh, it's Brodus Clay. Brodus Clay came out with Cameron and Naomi.
Okay. Anyway,
yeah. That was the musical guest. That was the musical guest.
I would set it as a B, Ron. I think Punk and Jericho was a great match. Like you said, Rock and Cena was okay. I think a B is a good call for that one.
I'm not. No notes. I would maybe go down a little C, but it's enough to bring it up to B.
Yeah, I mean the end of an era match was like that brought it up. I will say that brought it up.
Honestly, the only reason that like it drops to C is with the post knowledge that it wasn't actually once in a lifetime.
True.
Yeah, I can understand that.
I'll give it a B because it's got enough merits to climb up, but that's why I am tempted to drop it to a C because we were all told like once in a life actually.
Okay. So now that some of us have done each other's, Ace has to pick one of mine.
That kills the whole randomness, but let me see.
Yeah, pick one of mine.
All right,
sorry.
We'll do the one that I know is one of yours, WrestleMania 3.
Okay, go for it.
God, how do you? This was where because WrestleMania was an experiment and unsure of if it was going to be good or not. Like this was his like Hail Mary, you need to make wrestling big. So WrestleMania on its own was a big deal. WrestleMania 2 was can you follow up? We're gonna try some weird new things or whatever. But I think we can all safely say that WrestleMania 3 is what cemented WrestleMania as like the penultimate like contest of champions that it's become. The Super Bowl of pro wrestling, showcase the immortals. And as much as I hate who one of the headliners is, if I step back to his character during that era, it was the giant versus the icon. It was Hogan versus Andre, and the slam heard around the world is what basically cemented WrestleMania's legacy going forward.
I completely agree, Ace. But I will say one thing: Hogan and Andre, slam heard around the world, the moment everyone remembers. However, Steamboat versus Savage for the Intercontinental title,
Match of the night. Match of the night.
Not just match of the night. To me, top 5, probably top 3 WrestleMania matches of all time, and the match that match solidified. Oh, we put our best matches on during WrestleMania.
Yeah,
I could agree. And on the point of the Andre Slam, that is the only thing that's memorable about that match. The match is overrated. The main event of WrestleMania 3, way overrated. But the Slam, iconic. So and also, how do you have a match, Billy Jack versus Hercules, on a double count out at WrestleMania?
Yeah.
What does that do? What does that do?
Oh, Ron, if you're mad about that, one of mine's coming up, and you're gonna have to
right. But I mean, you had Piper and Adonis with the hair versus hair match. That was a great match. Alice Cooper still doing the whole clash of wrestling and pop culture with Alice Cooper coming in with Jake Roberts. That was cool. As a modern wrestling fan, it was it's kind of hard to watch, especially because most of the matches were short. Other than Hogan Andre and Steamboat Savage, everything else was less than 10 minutes. It was hard for me to get into it. They did have great moments, but for me personally, I would say it's a C.
It's very hard. It's very hard to say that, thinking of the impact of that one, but I do agree. I'm
gonna have to go C, because here's the thing: the reason I big upped it like I did is because that to me is what it has going for it. You also had the Intercontinental fight and everything like that, and the media and history will remember the Slam. But you're right, when you look at it as a whole, like we are doing for all of these, the whole was not the same level of caliber. You had those two, and then that was about it.
It's from the first WrestleMania all the way to WrestleMania 9. It's they're trying the pageantry, but it's not exactly there. And with WrestleMania 9, which I would possibly say we don't have an F tier on that, but the F tier would definitely go. WrestleMania 9 would definitely go in the F tier. Yes. I think that's when they realize, okay, we need to do something different with WrestleMania. So, they're still trying to find their feet. We could give it a pass and be like, oh yeah, no, it's great because, these iconic matches, and give it a B. But overall, I would say C.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Now that all three of us have done each other's, now we could get back on track.
Yes.
Now let's just get back to straight reviewing it.
Yep.
Which, I mean, next up, WrestleMania 17.
This was one behind the scenes. I was upset that it was taken because I had a
best.
No, well, yes, but also this was in Houston.
Yeah, also that.
Yeah. And I wanted to get both Houston ones.
Look, I had always known about this. Ironically, because on the GameCube there was WrestleMania 19, and they would frequently reference you'll remember when we fought back on WrestleMania 17. Like they would reference a 2 years out WrestleMania in like the in-game promos and stuff.
Mhm.
And so it made me seek out like what was on WrestleMania 17. Y'all, the card for WrestleMania 17.
It's a unit. It's a unit.
It's a
The kids would
unit.
call it a unit.
From start to finish, it was a unit. Let's scroll all the way down.
Actually, can we call it for what it is? It's WrestleMania X7. Come on.
X7. Yeah, well,
It's X7.
it was the 90s. Everything was X7. So you had X Factor defeating Blackman and Grandmaster Sexay. Chris Jericho and Regal. Taz and the APA defeating Right to Censor. Kane and Raven and Big Show. Eddie Guerrero defeating Test. Kurt beating Benoit. China defeats Ivory. Shane defeating Mr. McMahon with Linda McMahon's help. That iconic, like,
Get up from the
standing
chair
up.
and it's like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Edge and Christian beating the Dudleys and the Hardys. Iron Sheik
We love a Sheiky baby.
winning the gimmick battle royale,
We love a Sheiky baby.
and then Taker versus Trips and Stone Cold beating The Rock in a no DQ. We often talk about a lot of pay-per-views always having the chill out match, and I'm absolutely certain that if we watched this live, there would have been, because a lot of this we're going back and looking at, whereas they would have been looking at it like in the moment. It's easy to come back and look and go like, maybe this wasn't as great as everyone thinks. Honestly, pretty dang good match all the way around. And Sunday Night Heat. None of this pre-show nonsense.
I remember that back in the day. Yeah.
Right? Straight up, just like, hey, catch this on Sunday Night Heat.
This is an amazing WrestleMania, as Ace just said. It's also the first WrestleMania where Motorhead played Triple H to the ring.
Yep.
It's also the first WrestleMania where they started to do the over-the-top stages, because Vince wanted it to be a celebration because they just bought WCW. So WCW just went away. Vince had bought his competition, and so they did like a huge over-the-top stage for WrestleMania. So this is the one that starts that form of the pageantry that we have nowadays. This is a top tier WrestleMania, Ace.
How have we not mentioned the lead up to Stone Cold and The Rock with one of the most pivotal, one of the most iconic promo videos that we have ever seen to Limp Bizkit's My Way? It is parodied over and over and over again.
It is one of my top 3 favorite all-time wrestling packages before a match. I think it's almost everyone's top, whatever. It's amazing. It can't be said. If you haven't seen that video package, go out, watch it. You will be. You don't even have to watch the match. It's just going to get you hype.
Yeah. I would say this is easily. Oh my god. Okay, it's not easy. Now I'm thinking about it. I'm going high A on this one.
Ooh, I thought you'd go S tier. I thought you'd put this as one of the best WrestleManias of all time.
I am going high A. You know what? No, when I'm thinking about it, I had to say S.
Well,
I would have to say S.
The
I'd have
only
to say S.
thing that drags the show down, the only thing, is the ending of the main event where Austin turns heel, a heel turn no one wanted, and a heel turn that didn't help him out at all. That's the only thing that hurts.
And if that's the only thing, we could give it a pass.
Oh yeah, no, it's still an S tier. I'm screaming S tier, but I'm just saying, like, that's the only thing I'd say is the bad takeaway.
It was a big deal.
Yeah.
S tier, good stuff all the way around.
S tier.
All right, now we're going right back in time again, all the way back to pre-9 WrestleMania 8.
Okay, that's me. So, before I go into anything, the reason I picked this one, this is the first WrestleMania I ever watched. I went over to my friend's house when I was a young lad and just discovered wrestling, and we watched WrestleMania. And as a kid, this was the craziest, most awesome thing I had ever seen. However, let me go through the matches real quick. You have Bushwhackers defeating the Beverly Brothers in a tag team match. You have Shawn Michaels making his singles WrestleMania debut versus Tito Santana. You have The Undertaker defeating Jake the Snake Roberts. You have Bret Hart winning the Intercontinental title from Roddy Piper. You have the Big Boss Man, Virgil and Sergeant Slaughter and Jim Duggan defeating the Mountie, the Nasty Boys, Brian Knobbs. You have Savage versus Ric Flair, Tanaka versus Rick Martel, the Natural Disasters versus Money Inc. for the tag titles, Owen defeating Skinner. Wow, Skinner. I forgot about that guy.
Wow.
And then Hogan defeating Sid. So, on paper, it is an okay WrestleMania, right? However,
there it is.
I will say this. Bret Hart, Roddy Piper, I will put this up against most WrestleMania matches. Fight me, I don't care. This is a great match. This is the first match I ever saw to where I was like, oh, there's a technical aspect of this and stuff. And like, I go back and watch that match to this day. It holds up. It feels like a fight. It feels like Bret just barely gets one over on Piper. It is a great match to start Bret's extension and have Piper kind of pass the torch to him. It is phenomenal.
Yeah, and also from a psychological standpoint with the Bret and Piper match, you had Piper, he has the utmost respect for Bret Hart,
Yes.
but it's like, does he do his regular dirty deeds, his dirty tactics, or does he give Bret like the actual match that he deserves? And
Yes.
so the psychological aspect of that match, that I would say was the best match of that WrestleMania.
By far. Like I said, that match was just 10 tons of great. This was the WrestleMania that was supposed to be Hogan and Flair, and for whatever reason, they pivoted. They say it's because there's a house show that wasn't good match between them. I don't buy that. But anyway, so they pivoted. You do Randy Savage versus Ric Flair, where the lead up is Ric Flair's basically sending pictures to Savage, basically being like, oh, Miss Elizabeth wants to be with me and not you, right? And the match ends in a no contest. It literally, Ric Flair beats up Savage, hurts his knee. Savage won't end, and you have your world title match end in a no contest. What are we doing?
What are we doing? What are we doing?
And then your main event, your WrestleMania main event, is then Hogan versus Sid with no title on the line. That's fine, whatever. That just ends with Papa Shango coming out and
Late.
almost costing Hogan the
Late.
match. And
Late.
and then the return of the Ultimate Warrior to save Hogan. It was such a bizarre, like, as a little kid just starting, it's just a bunch of things happening. And you're like, oh, this is awesome. But then when you go back, you're like, your world title match ends in a no contest. And then your main event was to set up the return of the Ultimate Warrior that night. What? And then just like, there's just a whole bunch of matches on that card that are bust. Taker versus Roberts is good, but like Shawn Tito Santana, it's okay. It's a pretty good match. It's a solid 10-minute match, but like all these multi-man matches just fall flat. And I'm sure if you were there at the time, you loved it. But looking back, this WrestleMania is a bust.
Garbage.
And it's a comedy of errors.
Well, it is right before like the quote unquote worst one.
Yeah, no, exactly. But here's the thing: is if you watch WrestleMania 8 and then you watch 9, you're like, both the main events is just scatterbrained.
Hulk Hogan shenanigans.
Yes, and they're both very, very bad. Like, to think that 8 and 9 were back to back. They had 2 busts of WrestleManias back to back before they got their stuff together with 10. I can't believe these are as bad as they are, but they are.
So what would you rate it?
It's a D.
Yeah.
D.
D for
D.
dang. You could have done better.
Yes.
D for do better. D for
Yes.
drop out that TV.
For do
Better.
All right, what's next?
So I'm gonna need a little help here because when I put the picture in, it cut off the number, and my memory is awful.
That one right there is 24. You want me to go again, or you want somebody else to go?
Go ahead. Look, I just put them in random order. We just wanted to do the one for each, and then we just kind of tackle them because we're already
That's fine.
at 55 minutes. I knew this was gonna be a long one, but let's not.
Yeah,
crazy.
I'll try not to make it as bad, or as much. WrestleMania 24, I believe, is underrated because it's right before 25, and then right after 23. So I think it gets lost in the shuffle. But your main event is the only. Well, never mind. It's one of two, but at the time was the only main event for Edge. With Undertaker and Edge for the world title. I feel like that match is awesome. Floyd Mayweather and Big Show, whether you like the match or like the people involved, it was a very, very good celebrity build-up.
It was entertaining.
Yes, it was very entertaining, and just the build-up was just great. Orton, Triple H, Cena in a year that you wanted to give Undertaker the main event, and you have Floyd Mayweather coming in. It made all the sense in the world to have all three of those guys in one match together. Shawn Michaels versus Ric Flair, maybe. I understand Ric Flair can't ever stay retired, but it's one of the best send-offs.
I'm sorry. I love you.
Yeah, dude, I'm sorry. I love you, super kick. Dude, I know nowadays the stuff Roman does, the kids are like, oh, it's cinema. That was cinema. That was perfect. It was just so good. Batista versus Umaga is an underrated banger. I remember the hype was like Raw versus SmackDown. They picked Batista and Umaga going into that WrestleMania. I was like, ugh, okay, that'll be the bathroom match. It was not. It was not the bathroom match. The Money in the Bank that year, pretty good, but it was CM Punk winning his first Money in the Bank. You had the Belfast Brawl with Layfield and Hornswoggle. Kane winning the ECW title. I think this Mania is super underrated. Plus, you have one of the top 5 all-time WrestleMania stages in Hotel WrestleMania.
Yeah. What would you rank it?
It's not S tier. I actually think it may need a B.
I was about to say high B.
I would say a B.
I go for a high B.
So, yeah, I was just giving someone final shot. This is technically Ron's, but I think this one is going to be an interesting one.
What?
It's the people-less wrestling.
Okay. So let me just give a quick rundown because obviously, time. This was done in the COVID era. We didn't know originally it was going to be in Raymond James Stadium. That's why you have like all the pirate motifs. And I think this is the first time that WrestleMania has gone to 2 nights. I'm just going to go through the pros and cons. First, Charlotte and Rhea for the NXT Championship, banger. You had that huge storyline for a year with Otis and Mandy. Otis defeats Dolph Ziggler with Sonya Deville in the corner. That was just a feel-good moment. Bayley beats 4 other people to win the SmackDown Championship. Amazing. Drew finally wins the big one, even though it was like in 5 minutes or so. That was fun. Nice to see that Drew finally got the championship. But the Firefly Funhouse match.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Absolutely amazing. I know that the kids, they talk about cinema, with Roman Reigns and all that, and talk about cinema with like Ric Flair and Shawn Michaels and all that. But Firefly Funhouse,
literal cinema.
Literal. So my cons about this: Charlotte wins the championship after all of that. I'm LOL. Charlotte wins. Edge and Orton for 30 minutes in the greatest match of all time was so dragged. Tag teams weren't that important. And a short match to finish off WrestleMania, that's a big choice. but it was a good WrestleMania nonetheless. I would give it a B.
Um,
The Firefly almost drags it up to A.
no, like
Oh, sorry, not A, B.
the Firefly's great. I actually would say this one's a C. Yeah, if you want to B, I'll bend the knee and give you a B.
Because I mean, Charlotte and Rhea was absolutely wonderful. I think that was like the best match, And then it's a feel good moment for Drew. Like I saw him win the Royal Rumble, and unfortunately, this is COVID era, so I will have to give it a pass because this is unprecedented times. They tried to do what they could. The matches were shorter, but that's because there was no audience to feel out, and they did the best with what they could.
Okay, I'll go with you. I'll go with you.
Okay.
Begrudgingly.
So what are we doing?
B.
B? Sounds good.
What's the next one?
The start of an era.
Was that 38? 38?
Yeah.
Is that night one?
Night one. All right, so that's mine. Okay, so I'll hit the highs and lows. The lows is Logan Paul is part of this WrestleMania.
Right.
However, him and The Miz defeating Rey and Dominic, it was a surprisingly good performance that kind of blew people away. Becky Lynch versus Bianca, banger. Cody Rhodes returning from AEW to face Seth Rollins, banger match, banger moment. Just holy crap, everything right there. Charlotte faced Ronda, so that happened. And then the main event, no holds barred, Stone Cold versus Kevin Owens. Stone Cold, after 19 years away, wrestles his first match against Kevin Owens. They brawl all over Dallas Stadium. I think this WrestleMania or this night over delivered, because the next night had two very fun matches, but in my opinion, it could not live up to night one. Night one was the night of that weekend. Cody came back to WWE. Austin came out of retirement. I think this was a great night. And also it had the big awesome star stage. I'm sorry, I'm trying to put in everything. I like the stages. I say this is an A or B.
I would give it an A.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There were too many big things that happened to give it anything less than an A.
I agree.
So to the top it goes. All right, this next one, I'm biased. This is the only Mania I have attended. See, I'm tongue tied just trying to talk about it. It was, the thrill ride, the roller coaster. We had Roman and the Undertaker. This was post streak, so this was just like a big field match. Surprising, I remember that he lost. You had Bray Wyatt. You had the Hardys returning. We had the New Day fake out and the Hardys returning. It was, and that was the year Kurt Angle got inducted into the Hall of Fame, I believe. So that was fun because hearing in a giant stadium of people chant "You suck," always great. But there is a little bit of an extra personal reason why I love this, and that's because that I know a certain musical interlude causes a one Ron to lose his mind at all times, and that is because of one Flo Rida.
Fuck.
Was that 104? Okay.
You did it. You said that you didn't have to say his fucking name, and you did it. You know what you did. You know what you did.
Ron, Flo Rida can't hurt
Fuck.
you.
He can't hurt you.
You know what you did. You know what you fucking did.
Only his shirt can wrap you, and it's 100 Well, probably 70% polyester, 30% cotton.
Still a good shirt.
Loving
Still a
it,
good
right?
shirt. Still a good
You're
shirt.
welcome.
You know what?
In Ace Defense, this also had Neville Austin Aries on the pre-show, which was so freaking good. AJ versus Shane is probably one of AJ's top 2 best WrestleMania matches. This one was pretty good. What are you giving it, Ace?
Hey, don't forget that Roman retired the Taker. Don't
Oh,
forget
yeah.
that, Ace.
Kind of.
In a bad main event. I'm just wanting to point that out.
In a bad main event.
Score, Ace, I know you went there. I know you want to give it an A, but in a bad main event.
I was going to say B for Blow Rider.
Yeah, I could go B for Boo Rider.
Yeah, sure. Let's go B.
He's gonna start yelling. It's gonna start yelling, I swear.
All right, take it away.
Okay, so obviously, the next one is WrestleMania 31?
Yes.
Okay, so for this one, this is when I came back after the Attitude Era. This is the first WrestleMania I ever watched since the Attitude Era. This is me coming back as a lapsed fan. D-Bry wins the Brutal Ladder match, the one where they had to remove Dean Ambrose from the ladder after being thrown by Luke Harper. Sting is in the WWE, but also that Triple H and Sting match was a glorified WWE versus WCW. And why is the NWO backing Sting? Do we not know history? The only women's match on the card was 7 minutes. Everything else was a lot longer. No one wanted Roman Reigns in the main event, but those are just some of the cons. Even though I did say Sting in WWE, D-Bry wins the IC. Those are pros. Rusev porked Lana in the tank that he then drove himself up in for the John Cena United States Championship Open Challenge match. Amazing. Taker Wyatt was a good passing of the torch. Did I mention that Rusev arrived in a freaking tank? Seth and Randy match was absolutely amazing. Of course, you have the big moment with one of the best RKOs known to Jesus, WrestleMania 41 Jesus Fest. And then you cannot talk about this until the heist of the century. The heist of the century. This was mind-blowing for me. Of course, I read up on what the money in the bank thing does, but this seemed like a big deal. The set was a big deal. Absolutely wonderful, amazing. Gosh, you know what? This was an S for me. The whole WrestleMania was almost just beat for beat amazing to me. And I think that's just because I have nostalgia for it, because this was the first modern WrestleMania that I have seen. It was an S for me. I could go as low as an A, but I mean, you cannot beat Heist of the Century. You cannot beat a freaking tank rolling into WrestleMania, knowing that Rusev and Lana had coital relations inside said tank. Yeah, no. And also, the main event was actually really good.
It was better than, even without Seth, it was better than I thought it was going to be. I'll give this an A.
I'm willing to give it an A because of Rusev.
A?
A? Okay.
Okay, we'll give it an A.
We'll give it an A.
When you say this, you blinked your wife.
Rusev porked his wife in the tank that he then drove himself in to a match against John Cena. Come on.
It's a high bar. It's a high bar.
Okay, so next is WrestleMania 12.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So I picked this one because this is the WrestleMania that kind of solidified me as a wrestling fan. Solidified me as a wrestling fan, but I'm not going to miss this show ever. Because Shawn Michaels was my favorite growing up. The whole build of the boyhood dream. This was the most hyped I'd been for a WrestleMania main event as a kid. just to go to some good and bad. Let's go with the bad. We are in heavily Monday Night Wars, and they decide to do the Huckster versus the Nacho Man with Billionaire Ted as the guest referee. Why did we do that? Let's throw that away. And that was ridiculous. Ultimate Warrior decided he didn't want to have a match against Triple H, so he just squashed him in less than 2 minutes.
Usually when they just decide, they're like, nah.
Yeah, I know, right? And the Warrior tends to do that a lot. Some of the other tag matches and stuff were what they were. The Ringmaster Steve Austin versus Savio Vega, surprisingly good match. Undertaker versus Diesel is your normal big man back and forth. But the two gems of this WrestleMania is, first, we have to talk about it. Roddy Piper versus Goldust in a Hollywood backlot brawl. They start off fighting behind the set of a movie, and then they cut to footage of the OJ chase and make you think that that's Piper and Goldust chasing each other in cars, do another match, and then go back to the OJ chase and arrive in the arena and fight into the ring. It is the most absurd piece of wrestling ever that they decided to use OJ chase footage to make this match work. But it's Piper, it's Goldust, it all works beautifully. And then your main event, the first ever hour-long Iron Man match. Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, no pinfalls, goes into overtime. Shawn Michaels wins. You have the amazing Shawn Michaels ziplining from the top corner of the arena down into the fans and getting into the ring. You have the boyhood dream has come true moment at the very end of this WrestleMania. It is one of the top 5 best endings to a WrestleMania. Whether I know that match is polarizing, people love it or they hate it, but that is one of the best endings and best calls to a WrestleMania. But I do know, if I'm taking my nostalgia out of it, there's a lot of not good in that WrestleMania. I am willing to give it a B or C.
I'd hate to see another old Mania get a C treatment, because it looks like everything pre 15 is getting lower, and I don't know if there's something to that. Have our tastes gone refined? Were they just not as good as we thought?
Look, you had an Iron Man match end the show. This is a B for me.
Okay, good.
I love an Iron Man match.
Oh, no, me too.
I love it.
I just know that match is polarizing. I like it. I know some people don't. Excuse me. I would put this at a B. When I said C is I understand that some of the rest of the show isn't as captivating, so I would understand if y'all wanted to knock it down. Yeah, no, let's hit a B.
I agree.
Yeah.
All right, 4 more.
All right. This one
anniversary.
Oh, this is
Ron. You
stop with that. The 25th anniversary. Stop with that.
What are you talking about? That's totally how anniversaries work.
Right? Okay. So this one, I think this one was my first pick. Definitely chose it because it was in the good old city of Houston. I love you, baby. So my only cons, the only women's match was won by Santina Morella. Miss WrestleMania. Let's throw that out there. This is a big con.
Right. Women's wrestling.
Right? Hasn't hit yet. Hopefully someday.
Something women's wrestling.
The Matt and Jeff Hardy match, brother versus brother in Extreme Rules match, wasn't as good as I thought it would be. And both of the championship matches that they had on that card could not live up to one of the best WrestleMania matches of all time. The pros, CM Punk wins the Money in the Bank for the second time. I think it was back-to-back 24 and 25. Ricky Steamboat can still freaking go against Chris Jericho. I know it was 4 against 1, but come on. Ricky Steamboat,
when
bro.
Ricky got in there, it was 1-on-1 for a while. They let that go.
Absolutely. So it was so cool watching that. Ray winning the IC, and then you see snot coming from JBL's face saying, I quit, I'm leaving. When
And Ray cosplayed as Heath Ledger's Joker with his mask and
that
gear.
was cool. That was very cool. But obviously, the big grand marquee, Taker versus HBK. Absolutely love that match. One of the best WrestleMania matches of all time. 110%. The fact that this was not ending the show was wild. I loved it. I love WrestleMania 25. It has a great place in my heart. I have to give this an A.
Yeah, you're not the only one. And you know what? I'm going to have to agree. The 24th anniversary of WrestleMania
25th.
May.
No, he said 24th anniversary. That's correct. Stop it. Stop it, Jake. Stop it.
Also, Ron,
Stop it.
Also, Ron, this is an S tier WrestleMania, but I will accept A. And I hate you for picking this one because that is the first WrestleMania I ever went to.
Well, you know why I'm not putting it as
24th anniversary of WrestleMania?
I went to the 24th anniversary of WrestleMania. I did.
You know why I'm not putting it at S.
No, I know. The main event of that one wasn't great. Yeah. What's the next one?
But yeah, Taker HBK, brilliant.
HBK is so good.
Yeah, amazing.
Agreed. Looks like next we got the big XXX WrestleMania.
Yeah,
30.
Vin Diesel.
The one that both had the highest of highs and the lowest of lows.
Vinny D's.
Sorry, you said it. Now I'm saying the whole thing.
Yeah.
WrestleMania 30 had a hella stacked card, which now, if I recall correctly, this was done in the Silver Dome.
Yeah, this was done in the Silver Dome. Absolutely.
Hashtag never let him forget.
As much as we would love to forget him.
As much as we'd love to forget him, never let him forget.
Racist prick.
Agreed. Once again, we had a amazing tag team match right off the bat with the Usos retaining against Matadors, Real Americans, and the worst named team of all, Rybaxel. Well, not the worst, but definitely top 5. You had Daniel Bryan defeating Triple H by pinfall. So he got added to the match later. Good old Shield defeating Kane and the New Age Outlaws. Cesaro winning the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royale against, I think the final elimination was Big Show.
Yeah.
John Cena beating Bray Wyatt, which I think that was when Bray was constantly trying to get Cena to join him, which, shadows of their later Funhouse match. The weird Vicky Guerrero Invitational Divas Championship thing, which AJ Lee won. Then you had the 2 matches, the lows and the highs. Should we go low first or high first?
Low.
Go low first. After a long, glorious streak, Brock Lesnar defeated The Undertaker to finally break The Undertaker's undefeated WrestleMania streak. If you haven't seen the disappointed Taker fan, then you have not yet known true sorrow. Fun fact, we almost had him on one time and we just never could make it work out.
Who, Brock?
No, the fan, the disappointed Taker fan.
Oh, okay.
We almost had disappointed Taker fan on, which would have been really cool, but it didn't work out. But then that was immediately replaced by the highs of highs. Daniel Bryan beating both Batista and Randy Orton in a triple threat match for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, which this was also when we had the straight tearjerker celebration with Connor the Crusher. That moment where he went out, got him, and got him in the ring immediately will always be like top 10 tearjerker moment for me. Any notes?
No, what you got? I think for me, one thing that I really liked about WrestleMania 30 was the overarching Daniel Bryan storyline, and that made it fun for me. The matches were long, and me, I'm a sucker for a long match. What tier do you want to put it in the thing?
I'm leaning towards A. I almost want to give it S just because of the two like iconic lows and highs of WrestleMania.
I would not be upset. I would not be upset with an S, but when you say that, it makes me want to put A just because you know how I feel about women's wrestling.
Right, and that's why I'm saying like the Vicky Guerrero Invitational kind of like it felt a little too forced with just like I'm all for women getting their bag and being seen, but it just felt like it was there to be like, yeah, see, women's wrestling, and there was no real like build or story behind it. It was just they were there.
Right.
So I want to give it more props and everything, but it felt more forced than like, a big show who was also eliminated. Jake, what about you? We're both leaning A.
Let's go with an A.
Yeah, I want to give it S, but it wasn't an all around show, but it was high quality. Okay, 2 more to go.
What we got?
What's on the docket, Chief?
What's on the dock? Well, we got 2 more. Do we want to do let's do the one that Ron was at first, because we both have said ones that we went to. Ron, do the one you were at.
Okay, that's WrestleMania 34. That was in New Orleans. That was also my pre-divorce party gift to myself after being in a car accident the year prior. So I spent money on this. Let me tell you. Here are my cons. Or actually, you know what? Let me start with the pros. The IC match with Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, and The Miz. That was a great IC match. They had a good build-up leading up to this Intercontinental Championship match. And it was just cool seeing Seth come out, I believe, as one of the Nightwalkers from Game of Thrones, and how I feel about Game of Thrones. Kurt Angle, Ronda Rousey versus Stephanie and Trips. That was match of the night for me, and having that be Rousey's first match in the WWE, pretty dang good. Unfortunately, how I felt about Ronda Rousey in the WWE made a vicious downturn. It was a really good match. Daniel Bryan returned after being retired. He and Shane McMahon took on Sammy and Kevin. Great chicken. And then there was a feel-good moment with Nicholas being the youngest tag team champion in WWE history. Braun and Nicholas beating the Bar. But now here are the cons. Asuka loses the streak to Charlotte. Con. Taker Cena match was short and stupid. Con. AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura. Nakamura being the Royal Rumble winner didn't live up to expectation. Con. Braun and Nicholas win the tag team championship against the Bar. Con. And Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns again in the main event of WrestleMania. This was a snooze fest. Even watching it back, horrible match, disgusting match. Con, this wasn't a good WrestleMania. Not one bit. And I was there. It was good. I had a fun time being at WrestleMania. I don't have a fun time watching this WrestleMania. I would give this a D because this WrestleMania straight up sucked. The only reason why I am deciding it cannot go any lower is because we had some nice returns, we had some nice debuts, and there was like one really, really, like there were like two really, really, really good matches.
I'm gonna have to agree.
The expectation was not met.
Honestly,
On that low bar.
the Cena Taker one is what really killed it for me.
That and the whole like, okay, this was Charlotte and Asuka's moment, and all of a sudden John Cena gets a phone call after sitting at the fans because he bought a ticket to the show, and he runs right past them. It's like,
Oh yeah, the like, oh, I'm glad you guys are having your moment. I'm gonna step all over it.
exactly. It was not fun. Not fun.
That was the start of the heel turn.
Not fun. Con. But yeah,
So
it's a D. It's
unless
a D.
Jake saves it.
Heavy D. Heavy D in the boys.
Heavy D up in the limousine.
So you agree, Jake?
Oh, yes, by far. Drop that on a D.
Drop out on a D? Like Drop Out TV? Home of Dimension 20's Titan Takedown?
Exactly, Ron.
Yeah.
That's WrestleMania.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah, brother.
Heck yeah, brother. All right,
Heck yeah, brother.
what's the last WrestleMania?
So like, I don't know what to do with you. Well, it's go Mania 19. I love this picture that they decided to be like, oh yeah, no, Space Needle all the way. That was the focus. But I did not watch this live. Meaning I didn't watch a lot of Manias growing up live, but I have again fond memories because one of my first wrestling games was WrestleMania 19 on the GameCube, and I played the heck out of it. And so very familiar with a lot of the goings-ons with the WrestleManias of the 19s.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You sound less so.
Well, I mean, I didn't watch it live. Obviously, I'm a lapsed fan.
That is true. That is true. We got Chief Morley and Lance Storm defeating with the Dudley Boys, beating Kane and Rob Van Dam. Man, remember when Kane and Rob Van Dam were a team? Matt Hardy defeating Rey Mysterio for the Cruiserweight Championship. Again, remember Cruiserweight? Undertaker beating Big Show and A-Train in a handicap match.
Which wasn't originally supposed to be a handicap match because it was Nathan Jones and The Undertaker, wasn't it?
Yep, and they had the audible. Trish Stratus defeating Victoria and Jazz for a triple threat, which, you know, no notes, always fine with Trish Stratus. Team Angle, remember Charlie Haas? Good old Haas.
I love me some Charlie Haas.
Defeating Rhino and Chris Benoit and Los Guerreros. Shawn Michael defeated Chris Jericho in a pinfall in a 22-minute match, longer than the main event. Triple H with Ric Flair defeated Booker T by pinfall. Big shock. Hulk Hogan defeated Mr. McMahon by pinfall, which is unfortunate because had Hogan lost, he would have had to retire from in-ring competition, and the world wept. The Rock defeated Stone Cold Steve Austin by pinfall, and Brock Lesnar defeated Kurt Angle by nearly killing himself for the WWE Championship. Any highlights, or do you not remember this one as well?
Oh, no.
I remember the Shooting Star Press. I can tell you that.
I was about to say.
No, everyone talks about the shooting star press. I think that Ace picked a very underrated WrestleMania. Yeah, the Undertaker's match wasn't as memorable. That triple threat tag match was way better than people say. Shawn Michaels Jericho, I think, is a top 5 Shawn Michaels match at WrestleMania. Hulk Hogan and Mr. McMahon was such a unique match for Hogan because there was ladders, there was tables involved. It was not your normal Hulk Hogan match. It stands out a lot. Rock and Austin, the pin in the trilogy where The Rock finally beats Stone Cold at WrestleMania, where The Rock doesn't even know it's going to be Stone Cold's last match for 19 years.
The fact that Booker T didn't go over Triple H really grants my gears, though.
Especially because the build-up was people like, you can't be champion, and it sounds very racist. But yes, no, that was a very, very, very bad decision. And then Brock Lesnar, Kurt Angle was a good match up until Brock Lesnar decided to kill himself. This is a good WrestleMania. Where are you going to put it, Ace?
It's a good Mania. It's a high B.
Man, I wanted to put it at A.
I mean, high B can be pulled up by an A, unless
what do you
Ron's
think?
Ron's crapping on it.
I would give it the A.
All right.
I think so too. Because even though the Booker T decision was a bad decision, I think this was a good. This is also the show that Limp Bizkit performed "Take Her to the Ring."
Yeah.
Yeah, no, put that in the A. WrestleMania 19 is underrated.
Any WrestleMania with Limp Bizkit, immediately gets points for me.
WrestleMania 19 is extremely underrated.
Limp Bizkit, Fred Durst is the voice of wrestlers.
Yeah. That is a take, but we're going to... You know what, Ron?
Tell me I'm wrong, Jake. Tell me I'm wrong.
You know what, Ron? It's your way or the highway, and I'm going your way. You know?
Gotta keep rolling.
I mean, you got to keep rolling, Ron. Behind those blue eyes, who knows what's behind there?
Yeah, chocolate starfish and hot dog flavored water is what's behind me.
I mean, you know what, Ron? You did it all for the nookie at the end of the day, just like all the wrestlers.
Yeah, do you remember when Mankind did a promo in a boiler room?
I did. I mean, I was really afraid he was going to break stuff. But you know what, Ron? At the end of the day, we knew he wouldn't. You just had to have faith.
Gosh. Like I said, Limp Bizkit is the voice of wrestling.
All right, and with that $2 bill, y'all, we have run out of Manias.
Look at this.
Dude, I get deep cuts. I can go for days. With that $2 bill, y'all, we have ran out of time. And we have ran out of the WrestleManias we picked. So
as expected, lots of A's.
Yeah.
17 is still goated. It's 3 being so low. I don't know. It's mainly just because I constantly hear about how iconic it is. But y'all bring up good points about it's not really all that iconic.
No, and the main event was really overrated, except for one spot.
Yeah, man, they sold that one spot though.
Yeah, they did.
That one spot became
they milked that chicken.
Yep, gave him a career and everything.
Yep.
Maybe that's why we rated it so low.
Maybe.
So everyone, this is WrestleMania week. Enjoy your indie wrestling, enjoy your other wrestling, and also enjoy what we have in store for WrestleMania 41. But also, on top of that, added to that fact, enjoy the next season of the Quick Pop Podcast, Season 8, coming at you next week.
Next week, Season 8. Any bold predictions for Season 8?
Talk about wrestling.
Dominic Mysterio is a massive face.
Ooh, that would be weird.
Me and Ron make even more Limp Bizkit references per episode.
So
we have Fred Durst on this podcast.
Fred flipping Durst is on this podcast.
Durst on this podcast.
Prediction for Season 8. Marco Stunt finally freaking gets us.
Yeah,
That'd be nice.
yeah, that would be cool.
It would
That'd be nice,
2 years.
Marco.
Didn't, yeah, that'd be nice of him.
Marco.
It
Yeah,
would be
just
2 years late, but it's whatever.
big,
We're not
big
bitter.
timing us. Yeah, for a short guy, he loves to big time us, little nerd.
Wait, short? Like how short the list is for D's? D? Like Dropout TV?
Like Dropout TV.
God, now you got Ace and Balls.
Shout out to Jacob Wysocki. You're my boy, boo!